there was a strong fight in the brick fort of Sangala. Now, the Sangala fort is very important because here we have a name of a tribe. We learn a name of a tribe called Kathai or Kathai, who were very strong and they did not want to give away their fort. So, a strong battle took place where Porus helped Alexander with 5,000 or 6,000 armies, and naturally the Kathai people had finally to give over. These people were taken as slaves by Alexander, and the massacre that happened was quite huge. So, this was a huge amount, and these captured people were taken as slaves by Alexander, and later on we know that these slaves were transshipped to Macedonia or to Greece. We know the name of a king known as Sophites. The Indian term would be Shobhuti, who actually submitted to Alexander after all these happenings. Shobhuti is very important for us because later on we find that he actually struck a coin. This coin was actually struck following the Alexandrian medallions or Alexandria's coin issues. Now, after defeating the region, the people around the river Bias and Chenab, Alexander was keen on moving towards the Ganga valley. He had, while he was encamping in the river Bias, he had heard about the great Magadhan emperor who was ruling over a vast region, and this was obviously the Nanda dynasty. The Greek accounts talk about the ruler whose name was Agrams in some or Zandrems in other. But he was of course the Nanda rulers at that time who were in charge of Magadha, and Alexander was very much willing to move further east. Unfortunately, his army men, his compatriots did not agree to this. They were all very tired and they did not want to move further. As it is, many of their fellow men were killed and they now wanted to go back. So, Alexander realized this, and there were celebrations. As I mentioned earlier, the altars were created, 12 altars were erected, and then he prepared for his return journey without going into further east. We do not know what would have been the result if Alexander had finally come to the east, because if we go by the Greek accounts again, we find that the ruler of the east, that is the Nanda dynasty, and particularly during Alexander's period the ruler was Dhanananda, he had also a very huge army. So, that episode is not very clear that what would have happened if Alexander had actually come to the Ganga valley.